channel. This is Damsel in Distress Tarot. This is going to be our weekly spiritual guidance. I put a poll up earlier in the week asking you guys what you wanted the live stream to be about, and that was the highest vote. So we're going to work on manifesting this week as well. We're coming out of the retrograde cycles, so things are starting to ease up, especially on our finances. This one's under the sign of Taurus, and so normally Taurus's home is ruled by Venus, if I can get that out correctly. So that's its ruling planet. So it's at home in the sign of Taurus. So this is telling us that love improvements can come forward, that things can finally go forward into maybe commitment if you're looking for a long-term commitment, marriage for some of you, starting a family, things like that. So creature comforts. Taurus is a very stubborn sign. It's a Taurus, so it's a bull. But this is telling us that, you know, sometimes we have to be stubborn about the things that we actually want to have happen in our life for the positive. So as a thank you to my subscribers, I put a poll up asking what you guys wanted to manifest. So I'm going to be doing that for you guys today as well. So this is the manifestation bowl. Hopefully that shows up on camera. And I have 3 different things in here for the collective and some things for myself as well. And so we will be using the bay leaves, and they have little things written on them so that we can manifest the things that you guys voted on in the polls that I put up. And so we'll be doing that here in just a minute, but we're going to do your spiritual guidance first for the week. So how does manifesting work? Well, manifesting works by matching a frequency. And so you'll hear me talk a lot about manifesting things, manifest it into existence, manifest this, manifest that. So what does that actually mean? Well, to me, manifesting means that you are attracting the things that you actually want into your life, or you're letting go of the things first in your life that you don't want so you can make the room for the things that you do. So it's the key to manifestation is truthfully to match the frequency of what you want. Well, what does that translate to? You have to raise your vibration to match what it is that you want. Let's say you want to be a CEO of your company, but you're currently like working in the mailroom or something like that. Okay, so what would you have to do in order to elevate to that level? Well, you need to start thinking like a boss, okay? So that's your first step. Start thinking, what would it be like? What would I need to, play the part, dress the part, look the part, have the knowledge to be in that position? Start researching those things. And slowly but surely you can start to kind of climb the ladder. And then another thing that I like to do is using the bay leaves. So they're very simple. It's just literally, you can get these at any grocery store. They're just bay leaves. And you take, depending on what you're trying to manifest, this can matter. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I want to try and manifest wealth under this Taurus new moon that's happening tomorrow. So we wrote in green. So all of the bay leaves are written in the color green, and green is associated with wealth. So that's why we're using green. Love, you might want to use a red or a pink color so that you can try and attract that into your life, and so on and so forth. Colors have meaning, so we use the colors that we want to actually help us attract what we're looking for. So those are just some tips, some things that I've learned over my 40 some odd years of doing these things. And I can tell you from personal experience, I have manifested quite a few things in my life. Some of them were vehicles, some of them were a new home, let's see, better paying jobs, relocation type of things. So you can absolutely attract what you want. I've also manifested, my channel here is that I wanted it to grow. I started this about 1.5 years ago. I had a previous channel that really didn't grow. And so I thought, you know what, back to the drawing board. We're going to manifest exactly what we want to happen. And so I've manifested to meet specific people, just all sorts of things that you can actually attract into your life. So it is possible. If you can dream it, if you can think it up, you can find a way to create it. So what's that old saying? Where there's a will, there's a way. All right, let's get started with our weekly spiritual guidance and advice. And at the end of the message, I will be doing your manifest. And I'm going to show you guys how I do that. It's really a simple one. I don't do anything that's super technical. It's just not who I am. I like simple stuff. makes life much easier. So we're going to start with celestial messages from the zodiac moon, and we're going to see what it is that they need to tell us. What's coming through for the collective for the Taurus new moon tomorrow on the 19th. All right. You guys know I still can't talk, right? That hasn't changed. Okay, so under tomorrow's new moon in Taurus, what do we need to know? There we go. Eclipse in Aquarius, 35, awakening. Your deeper resolve rises. So this could be that you need to really stay focused on what it is that you actually want to attract in your life or anything in your life. And there's a lot of fear energy coming up to the surface. So this tells me that you're either afraid of the outcome or you're afraid that it won't happen. So we first need to release the fear. So lots of deep breathing exercises. Fill the energy with positivity instead of negativity. So shift your mindset. So lots of deep breaths. We're clearing the energy. We want positivity for our awakening. All right, moon in Leo, 17, heroism. We need to let our inner hero shine. So sometimes we have to be the hero that we wish we had. We are not necessarily going to receive the cavalry coming to rescue us. So we're going to have to be our own hero. And for whatever reason, Spider-Man is jumping into my head. So that's really strange. Anyways, I can see him like swinging from his web from building to building, bouncing around. So I feel like collectively there's lots of ideas that are being bounced around right now. But this is really telling us that we have to step up to the plate, that we have to take responsibility for where we are, where we want to be, and how we're going to get there. So be your own hero and let that person shine. Moon in Cancer, 16, belonging. A sensitive, introspective phase. So you might be feeling a little more sensitive than usual, especially where things like love or money are related. And this is telling us that we do need to kind of tap into that sensitivity, that this is important, that it's something that we are gifted for a reason, and that a lot of times we shove those emotions down. And what we really need to do is feel them. So this is a time for you to reflect, a time for you to figure out what it is that you really want, maybe out of your love life or out of relationships that you're currently dealing with. And then we need to form a plan of action. All right, but you will find a place where you feel like you belong. Moon in Aquarius, 23, free spirit. Your inner wild child awakens. So I do feel like for those of you that watch me, you probably are a little bit more of a free spirit. I tend to really attract people who aren't super straight-laced, that they're kind of more of a rebel, that they kind of are a rule breaker. You know, not to say that that's a bad thing. I've been that way most of my life, but that we kind of think outside the box of normal. You know, normal can be boring. That's not to say there's anything wrong with being normal and being straight-laced. It's just not how I operate. I'm very much a free thinker, a free spirit. I kind of don't like schedules and routines, and I like to just kind of go with the flow and do things that way. That's not to say that that always works, but most of the time I feel like that's how I operate better. So maybe you resonate with that as well. So you need to be a free spirit, and you need to let your inner wild child out. Sun in Taurus, 2, practicalities. It's time to boost self-worth and finances. So you can't make this up. Our moon is in Taurus, right? So this is in Taurus tomorrow, our new moon, and we are going to boost our self-worth and our finances. So see, it's aligned. It's written in the stars for us, and that's why we're going to be practical about it. We're going to start attracting exactly what we want. Eclipse in Sagittarius, 33, growth. Success after a setback. So, you know, maybe eclipse season was really difficult. Maybe this was something that, you know, the economy isn't great. But there's still lots of people that are really successful, that are doing really well. So why can't we be one of those? Why is there any sort of limitation on how much money we can earn, how much, you know, finances we can have in the bank? Or, you know, let's say they're showing me like a mattress with just bills stuffed underneath it. So maybe you're hoarding money under a mattress. Ill-advised, but do you. It's definitely something that I think we need to get in the habit of realizing that we have more than enough, that there is no limit to the amount of wealth that we can attract. And so I'm going to be manifesting manifesting endless streams of income for the collective. So what does that mean? I say the collective. Anybody who is subscribed to my channel is who I am currently manifesting for, but the collective is bigger than that. The collective is all of us. It's anybody who views this message. No matter when they view this message, we're going to attract that wealth for the collective, but specifically this time for my subscribers to the channel, because you're helping me grow. So I want to give back to you in some way, shape, or form by doing so. All right, let's see, how can we raise our vibe? Because that's going to be super, super important for us to manifest, right? We have to match the vibration. We have to match the frequency. Let's say you won the lottery tomorrow after this manifestation. Okay, so what does that energetically feel like? Are you elated? Are you breaking down crying? Are you going out and, spending all of it the next day? What does that energy feel like? And that's what we have to resonate. Sit with it for a minute. Sit there and think about what that feels like to actually align with that energy. And that's how we start to attract exactly what we're looking for. If you're more practical, like, hey, I just need a pay raise to be able to make it. All right, come up with a number and hold that in your mind and think about what that looks like. What can you achieve with that number? And sit and resonate with that energy. Very important. All right, I was called here on a mission. So we all have mission work here. We all have a bigger purpose for why we're here, and what our purpose is different for everybody. But some of us are really starting to wake up energetically to realize everything is connected, and we all are here with a purpose to kind of help the planet, help others. And so that's part of my mission work, is to help you guys heal. And so this is a platform on where I can actually do those things. But I also offer personal readings, so those are more tailored to you specifically and what you need. I also wrote a book about my experiences, my spiritual awakening, all of the trials and tribulations I've lived through, and tragedy and loss, and dealing with things like chronic illness, and how to overcome some of those things and still function and, be successful in your own right. All right, feeling fear is a call for love. So remember that fear stands for false emotions appearing real. It is an illusion. Fear is something that our ego tries to make us actually go forward on. So it's like the ego tells you, no, you can't do that. No, there's no way you're going to have that. No, you can't have this person. No, you can't have that thing. We don't resonate with the ego on this channel. We resonate with love. And love is filling us up from divine, from source, from God, spirit, the universe, whatever you like to give the title of, the higher power. And this is where we need to resonate with that energy. We need to tap into that frequency of the divine. So meditation, prayer, affirmations, positive thinking are all key in welcoming in love as well as positive thinking. So whether you say a daily affirmation, whether you get on your knees and you pray, whether you manifest, it's all the same energy, and it's positive thinking that we really need to attract love as opposed to fear. So again, deep breathing, we're going to release all of the negativity, all the negative emotions and feelings, so that we can actually welcome in what it is that we truly want to attract. Your mind is an altar to source energy, so we've got to keep it clean. We don't want to have negative thoughts, because the negative thoughts are blocking our blessings. So it's really important that we do a lot of deep breathing before we manifest, and we are going to do all of this in the live today so that you can see how I go about trying to manifest things, so you guys can do this as well. And that this is important, that we want to keep our thoughts clean, especially if we're trying to attract things. We don't want to attract negativity, and that is possible. I know there's people that are like, oh no, that's just BS. No, it's the truth. If you constantly are thinking negative, you will attract more negative energy, and that's the truth. They're matching your frequency. So if it's a low vibration, you're going to keep attracting that. That's why we have to do the cleansing as well. We have to do the deep breathing. We have to release all of that stuck, stagnant, negative energy, so that we are filled up with the positivity. So keep your thoughts positive, because you are creating things. You are not alone. You are protected by Source, the angels. You have an entire spirit team that surrounds you, whether it's your ancestors, the angels, the divine. There is so much that surrounds us. And sometimes we feel really alone on this planet. Starseeds especially are creatures that are brought here to help with the collective shift of the frequency, but at the same time, it can be kind of like an out-of-body experience where you just don't feel like you belong. And there's lots of people that feel that way. There's lots of people that feel like I'm completely alone. Nobody understands me. I'm the black sheep of my family. I'm the outcast. I'm the weird one. That's okay. You're designed to be unique for a reason. So embrace the weirdness. It's okay. It's who you were created to be. And they're giving me a lot of fear and a lot of emotions coming up. So there's lots of you in my collective that resonate with that message. And that Spirit is really telling us that we need to know we're not alone, that we need to realize that there is lots of us that feel this way. There's lots of us that are going through the same things, and we need to connect that energy to help each other through this experience. Forgiveness brings freedom. So this is another big one that can block your blessings and your abundance. So by holding on to unforgiveness, we're actually harming ourselves. So what that really translates to is that it creates dis-ease inside of our body. So energy is something that needs to flow through our chakras. And energy is also something that if it's stuck, if it's negative emotions or negative feelings, negative experiences, trauma, when all of that's stuck within our chakras, then that creates disharmony or dis-ease in our body. And it starts to manifest as problems. So whether that's certain organ systems aren't operating, aren't functioning correctly, whether you're really run down, really fatigued, depression, anxiety, things like that can manifest within the body, creating problems. So forgiveness is truly a gift that you give yourself. And by releasing any sort of negative emotion attached to a person, place, or thing, we give ourselves that gift of freedom. We let the energy flow, we release it, and we know that if somebody did something negative towards us, that the divine will handle it in due time, and we don't have to touch it. And so that's really important that we let go of those things and open our heart space. We need to see this from a higher perspective. So it's really important that we shift our viewpoint, that we aren't focused on necessarily, all the little incidental things that won't matter in 5 years. That what is the bigger picture? What are we really trying to attract here? Are we trying to set ourselves up for early retirement? Are we trying to set ourselves up to where we don't have to financially worry about money any longer? What is your end game goal is really what I want you to think about before we do the manifestation. And think about that for a minute, because it's going to be important going forward. So focus on the bigger picture, the bigger perspective, and don't get tripped up in all the little trivial things in life right now. All right, let's see what we have from the Ascended Masters. This deck is called Keepers of the Light. Let's see what we have. Ascended Masters, what do we need to know for our weekly spiritual guidance and advice? Thank you. All right, Master Buddha, increased awareness, deep connection, and trust your inner voice. So this is really about listening to our intuition. I also talk a lot about that on my channel as well. But your intuition is what I like to call your internal GPS. It's your guidance system. It's never going to steer you wrong. It's going to keep you on a path where you are going where you're supposed to be. You're going to avoid a lot of consequences, a lot of conflict and things like that, unless it's to learn a lesson. And so there are instances where you could still be on the right path, but things are challenging. Well, why are they challenging? Because we're here to learn, and we're here to learn soul lessons. This is our classroom. Earth is where we develop our soul. So we incarnate here so that we can actually make a difference, and so that we can actually learn a lot of lessons at a soul level. So it's super important. So we want to always try and listen to our internal GPS or our intuition. So some increased awareness may be coming through for you, and you do need to deepen your connection. What else do we need to know? Faith, humanity, and benevolence. Stay calm, trust the good in yourself and others, and see the light in the world. So this is really telling us that we need to stay faithful, whether you're spiritual, religious, doesn't really matter. And that this is telling us stay calm. We need to trust that there is still good in the world and see the light, see the kindness. And if you aren't seeing a lot of that, then that means you're supposed to be the light into the darkness for others. Hi, Raw Nature. Good. How are you doing? Haven't seen you on a live in a hot minute. Good to see you. All right, Gaia, Earth connection. Be mindful of the planet, come back to Earth, and stay grounded. So grounding and meditation is definitely another thing that we need to work on before we manifest. We want to make sure that we're very grounded in our energy, that we're not just off in la la land in chaos and conflict, and that we want to make sure that we're also giving back to Mother Earth, because if we don't, we aren't going to have a place that's very comfortable to live. We're destroying things. So I'm not a tree hugger, nothing wrong with that. Just that we need to make sure that we're mindful of what we're doing. We don't want to necessarily do things that are harmful. All right, what else do we need to know? Mercury, so some sort of open communication. Get a weight off your chest, speak up with love, and be heard. So this is telling us that we need to be able to communicate. So Mercury is the ruling planet of Mercury in retrograde is what I'm trying to say. Mercury controls communication. There we go. That's what was trying to come out. So we need to really be thoughtful of our communication at this time. And since we're coming out of retrograde, communication starts to get easier. That it's less sort of misspeaks or things where there's a lot of miscommunication, hiccups, bumps in the road. So if there's something that you need to say to somebody, now is the time to do that. But speak up from a voice of love. So come through with, positive energy, speak up, and definitely be heard. All right, from our angels, what do we need to know? Thank you, angels. What do we need to know? That was quick. Angel protection. So they're telling us that we are divinely protected. This is supposed to be Archangel Michael. I have a couple of decks that have him in it, and he's different in all of them. So basically, he is our protector. He comes at a moment's notice to clear any sort of blockages, to sever any energetic ties or bonds that we might have to another or to a situation that's negative. And we can call on him for protection at any time. So he's super powerful. He's never too busy to answer our call. We do have to ask for assistance because we're brought here with free will. Romance and connections. So there could be some new romantic connections coming in. It could be deepening an existing one, or this is something that it's trying to show you is a lesson. So all of our relationships in life are going to teach us different lessons. Some are easy, some are painful, and some are really, really hard. So we have to embrace those and know that we are here to learn from these situations. So whether it's an easy relationship, whether it's something super painful, or whether it's something that's chaotic, conflicting, and toxic, this is still something that our relationships teach us things. What I'm picking up from this is that some sort of divine love is coming in for the collective. That this is something that is going to show us what real love is actually about. And I feel like for those of you that have been through really difficult relationships in the past several years, that this could be a new opportunity for someone to come in and kind of show you that love is supposed to be kind and gentle. So that's really an interesting thing. All right, let's see what else we have from the angels. Cut the cords. It's time to release the things that we don't want in our life any longer. It's time to let go of the opportunities that we don't want. So whether that's a relationship that's literally sucking the life out of us, whether we feel drained at a job, whatever the energetic cord is, this is telling us that it's time to clear, cancel, release, and cut that cord, to sever the ties that bind so that we can go forward into something that is better. So ask your angels to help you cut any sort of energetic cord that isn't serving your highest good. Compassion. I feel like this is not only something we need to give to others, but this is something that we really need to give to ourselves. That compassion is really a gift, and it's something that we don't seem to have enough of anymore. It's like everybody's becoming cold and rude and separate, and a lot of it really has to do, I feel like, with social media and technology. We're always staring at our screens, right? We're always looking at it. You go out in a public place and you see everybody's got their phones out. Well, what happens is that we have this natural breakdown of communication with others, and we also start to lose empathy for others because it's easy to talk behind a screen, right? But could you say that to somebody's face if you were standing in front of them? So I like to look at it as, if you wouldn't say this to somebody's face, you shouldn't be saying it at all. That you need to give people kindness, compassion, empathy, and that there needs to be more of that in the world. So we need to be kinder to each other, and we need to in turn receive that kindness. So if you aren't receiving that compassion from others, start by giving it to yourself first. Self-love, self-care is going to be super important for that. And realize that you are worth that energy, not only to give to yourself, but also to give to others. That we are all human. We're all struggling with something at some point in time. We all need a little bit of help from now and then. So give it to each other freely, and it will help to shift the collective frequency for the positive. All right, let's see what we have from the star seeds. What do we need to know for the starseed message for the guidance? All right, double mission, light worker, starseed, serve the world by being you. So if you resonate with being a starseed is basically somebody who incarnated from another realm, another planet, another frequency here to Earth. So think of like almost an alien, and they incarnate into human form to learn lessons, but also to help us shift our collective frequency. And so you may have always felt like a black sheep. You may have always felt like you didn't fit in, like you don't belong. Earth is such a hard place to be, right? Well, you might be a starseed. And so this is telling us that not only do you have your own soul's missions to fulfill, that you have spiritual purposes that your soul itself needs to learn, but you're also here to help raise the collective frequency for the collective, for all of us here on Earth, because it's a collective consciousness, and that this is something that we need to all vibrate at a higher frequency to shift into the new Earth. So that's super important. Raw nature, what is my life number and could you tell me? Give me a second. I don't really do life numbers, but I'll tell you how you can actually calculate that if you want to do that. So calculating your life number is not a complicated thing. So basically what you do is you take your entire birthday and you're going to add each individual digit together. So you put some on here. So March would be 3/30. And then 1989. So you would add 3 plus 3 out of the 30. So that would be 6. And then 1. So let's see, 7, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. So 33. So 33 is a master number. And I'm going to actually have you Google that. So write down 33 or remember 33. So the master numbers you don't reduce down. So 33 is a master number. So basically that means that there is a higher purpose to what you are here for. So welcome, you're a starseed. You're a light worker, whether you realize it or not. So 33 is super important. 3 is about collaboration. It's also working with divine energy or the Holy Spirit. So 3 in itself is like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I also think it's missing an element. So I think it's actually supposed to be the Holy Spirit is actually the mother. And without the Father, the mother, we can't create life, right? So we have to have both. So depending on what kind of dogma or religious beliefs that you have, they're leaving out a key element. So that always has bothered me, that it's like it's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, but it's not. You're missing the mother element, which we have to create life. So I always believe that it's the Father, the Mother, the Holy Spirit, the Son. It's all of them. So long story short, your number would be 33. You wouldn't typically reduce that down, but if you did reduce 3 plus 3 down, you would have 1. So 33 and 1. So 1 is going to be, I think they call 1 a prime number still. I don't know. They're always changing the rules with numbers. So 1 would be like the beginning. So you might like to start a lot of projects, or you might actually be really good at manifesting. 1 is definitely a key number for manifesting, attracting new things, new beginnings, new opportunities, fresh starts, journeys, taking risks, like all of these things can be part of your life path. So look up both of those numbers, 33 and 1, and see if those have any sort of insight for you. You can look up life path number and then 33, and then you can look up life path number and 1 and see if those resonate for you. Another one you can do, sometimes they add those 2 digits together if it's a double number, so like 3 and 3 is 6. So I would look up 33, 1, and 6 and see if those messages resonate for you for your life path number. But definitely exciting. Thank you for that question. That was very, very good. All right, so all paths lead home. Inner authority and intuition. It's time to turn your gaze within. So your inner authority is really listening to spirit, listening to source, and where is that guidance taking you? Remember that there are no wrong turns on the path of life, that all paths lead home. So even if there's detours, bumps along the way, you will eventually get to where you are actually meant to be. You're welcome. I hope it helps. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. So we are definitely needing to tap into that higher frequency, that higher knowledge, and to really listen to where it's guiding us. That we are really, from the stars, we're from other realms, and we incarnate here specifically to fulfill our life's purpose. All right, let's see. Baby steps. Action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. So sometimes we have to listen to our intuition, and it might not make sense in that exact moment. But what happens is that over time, if we start to go towards our path, towards our calling, towards our mission, the doors and opportunities start to align for us. So it's important that we focus on what the bigger picture is, what the higher perspective actually is, and then start taking some baby steps until we actually get to where we're meant to be. All right, so our final set of these cards is going to be from the animals. So we're going to see what kind of animal messages are coming through for our spiritual guidance this week. Ooh, where did it go? There it is. All right, so we have moose. With self-reliance and measured patience, adversity will be overcome. So some stubborn energy, but truthfully, I feel like the stubborn energy is what's going to help get you to where you need to be in life. So the moose is something that, it's not afraid of too much. It doesn't have too many natural predators. And it's something that you can rely on yourself in order to actually get to where you need to be. So that stubborn energy will actually help carry you through your path. But you also have to be willing to kind of bend a little bit in order to get to adjust some things or to adapt if there's some major hiccups in your path or there's some major obstacles that you can overcome these, but you might have to be a little bit more flexible as opposed to just being stubborn. The peacock. Protect your heart from those who may cheat before they hurt you. So somebody who's maybe, they're telling me a little flashy or attracts a lot of attention. This could be somebody in your life that maybe has a lot of options when it comes to love or romance. And so if you feel like this person has too many options, you need to kind of weigh your options and decide whether this is somebody you want to be involved with or not. And that there might be some sort of cheating or infidelity, or you could be worried about that you want to guard your heart and make sure that you are protected from people who might try and hurt you like that. All right, the chameleon. Conceal ambition with patience until it's time to make your move. So having patience is really going to be key, especially if you're trying to reach some sort of long-term goal, that you need to kind of not like hide it, but that you want to not necessarily air it to everybody, because you need to have patience before you make your move. And it's best to move on big goals in silence. And the reason for that is there's lots of people who don't want you to be more successful than them. There's lots of people who try and sabotage you for your success because they're jealous, or they're not okay with, maybe you making more money than them, or whatever the case might be. It's going to be different for everybody. But it's important that if it's a big dream or goal, that we don't advertise that to anybody until it's complete. And your success will really speak for itself. Fox, your sharpened senses allow you to observe the actions of others. So really, really important to kind of watch the people that you're around, kind of oh, what is that old saying about a fox that, like they're super intelligent, that, they see things, they're calculated, things like that. So you really kind of want to read the room. You want to make sure that, that you are paying attention to what's going on around you. I feel like that's going to be key this week, to really observe the actions of others before you react. Especially, they're telling me, especially when it comes to the possibility of infidelity, cheating, or somebody who could potentially break your heart. Super important. Patient is my weakest side. Well, if I remember right, you're a fire sign. So yes, that does tend to be an issue for fire signs. Lots of very quick movement, lots of quick energy, and that's okay. There is a time and a place for that, where you'll take bold action, where, maybe other people are too timid and they don't want to do those things. We need the fire. We need the passion. It helps to keep, momentum going forward. It helps to achieve goals. So there is definitely that element needed in these things, and we're going to manifest with fire. So stick around. We're definitely going to be doing our manifestation stuff in the live today. So I'm going to show you guys all of that. So if you're able to stick around, please do. We're going to wrap this up. I've got 2 more decks we're going to use, and then I'm going to do your manifestation for the collective, and we are using fire. So stick around. All right. Orange orangutan, working to live joyously, not living to work. So this is telling us we can't forget to enjoy life, right? So we can't just always work, no enjoyment, no fun, no pleasures in life, that we're just machines. Well, we're not machines. We're meant to experience fun. We're meant to experience love. We're meant to experience excitement and new adventures. So make sure that there is some sort of balance. And if there isn't, this is telling us that we need to start to create that we need to work to live joyously, to have some fun. Lion, banish loneliness by reaching out to special friends. So if you've been really lonely lately, that this might be the time as the weather's improving, depending on where you are in the world. Some of you are going into winter. We're going into summer where I'm at. And so this is an indication that we need to maybe reach out. We need to connect with others, whether that's through social media, whether that's through calling a friend and saying, hey, let's go have coffee, let's have lunch. Something that you need that connection. We're human. We are not meant to live alone and be solitary creatures. The bison, recognizing the riches of the past and the abundance of the present. So we're coming into a cycle where we're trying to manifest positivity. We're trying to manifest wealth. We're trying to manifest love, all of these things. But we also need to be grateful for how far we have actually come. That we need to actually, be grateful for all of the little things, all of the hiccups and the bumps in the road, and that we need to stay focused on the bigger picture. But we also need to use gratitude for how far we have actually come. Whose decision is that? Wait, what? How souls are divided. I'm not sure I understand. How am I fire? Why am I not like earth or water? Well, depending on your chart, and I don't have your chart, so I can't tell you for sure, but you can actually look that up. You can look up your birth chart. And what that is that's where all the planets and stars were aligned at the moment that you entered the earth in the living plane. So they all actually play a key element in your makeup of who you are. And so, like in my birth chart, I'm a Pisces sun, I am an Aquarius moon, I'm a Scorpio rising, and my Venus, or how I love, is in Taurus in its natural home. So those 4 elements are big for who I am as an individual. And so depending on where they were and what the alignments were that were going on, kind of dictates how you were created to be. And so it's really interesting to read through your chart, and I can give you a website that's completely free that you can look into it, and it gives you a breakdown of everything. So what you need for that is your birthday. You need to know the city and place of your birth, and then you need to know the time of your birth, and that will all be listed on your birth certificate. So it's super easy. You just need your birth certificate, and then you plug in these things, and then it sends you your report, usually to your email. It'll send you the report, and it's quick. It takes a few minutes, and then you can read through there, and it'll tell you where all your placements are. So then when you see all these people online talking about different things like astrological events, like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, oh, this sign is in this, like our new moon tomorrow is in the sign of Taurus. And so this is something that Taurus is about, like practical matters. Taurus is about creature comforts. Taurus is about stubborn energy, but it's not impulse energy. It's about a lot of calculation, a lot of planning, and planning for the future. And so this is one that we can attract new love in, we can attract new wealth in. So I'm going to be doing both of those in the manifestation because they are ripe for the picking under this new moon that's coming tomorrow. So typically on either a new moon or a full moon, you have like a 3 to 4 day window of the energy. So we're going to do it today because we've got some things going on tomorrow. So we're going to do it one day early, and it's not going to affect the outcome. It's just fine. But that's one way that I definitely like to manifest under a new moon, and I don't do it on all of them. It depends on the energy and like what I'm trying to manifest. So that's important too. But full moons and eclipses are for releasing. So we just had an eclipse around, I want to say like the 6th of May, I think was the eclipse. And I think that was in the sign of Scorpio. And so Scorpio in tarot is the death and rebirth card. So it's about completing cycles. It's purging the old. It's letting go. It's severing ties. And why did we need to do that? Well, because our new moon energy is where we want to attract things. So we first have to release. Think of it like cleaning out your closet. You made space energetically or physically for what it is you're trying to bring in, right? Because energy, it's like we have to have the energy aligned. So that's really the goal with manifesting. Let's see, super interesting. Yes, I want to know. I've always been interested about these things. Okay, so hopefully you have a pen or a pencil nearby. It is called Free, F-R-E-E, Natal, N-A-T-A-L, chart, CHART.com. Freenatalchart.com. And it's a totally free website. Like I said, you just need your birth certificate with all that info on there and an email address, and then you put it in there and it's going to show you all of this stuff. So then when you hear me in the readings, especially for the zodiac readings where I say watch your sun, moon, rising, and your Venus placements for your full like week or month ahead. And that way you get to know all of the things that you need to know for you specifically that could be coming up in your life. And so it really does help you kind of make some adjustments and things. I've found it super, yes, freenatalchart.com. So that one is one that I really like to use, and it has helped me be able to attract things in my life that I needed or wanted, and just super useful information. And it's scary accurate. I will tell you that from my own personal experience. The first time I used it, I was like, it's like they know me. I mean, come on, how in the world can this be so accurate, right? Because it is. It's an accurate, it's a science. They have perfected this. The astrologers are not wrong. From my personal experience, they're not wrong. They know what they're talking about. People who actually do study this, and I am not an astrologer. I know enough to kind of help with my readings, but truthfully, I use my intuition in my readings. I'm an intuitive tarot reader, so I know the tarot, and I love astrology. I've always been kind of fascinated by it. I've always kind of studied it since I was a young child even. I really would like read my horoscope and all of these things, just kind of wanting to know like what's going to happen, the curiosity factor, but it definitely helps. So definitely recommend that you look into that, and I'd be curious to see how accurate it was for you. So you might be surprised. You might not be all fire. You might have a lot of other things. You might be predominantly fire sign energy. But you could also have earth placements. You could also have water placements. You could have air placements. And that all plays a factor in you, of who you are, how you operate, how you think, how you react to different situations. So it's very interesting stuff to learn about. So like I was saying, I'm a Pisces sun. So that's my outward appearance. That's what people see of me. So a Pisces is really intuitive. They are somebody who kind of embodies a little bit of all of the zodiacs. And so they're kind of more spiritual than they are religious, at least in my situation. I'm very spiritual, but not really religious anymore. That doesn't mean I don't believe in God and a higher power, because I absolutely do. And I know that that's where my gift comes from, especially the channeled messages or the intuitive messages that come through when I'm reading. That's absolutely God. And I don't take any credit for that. I know that it's not me. I'm just the vessel. I'm just the messenger, basically. So, but yeah, it's definitely something that I think can help us along our path, and to kind of gain some insight on who we are, how we operate, why we do the things that we do. That's very beneficial. So in my chart, I have water. I actually have a lot of fire, which is interesting. So it's like bipolar energy, you know. It's like my mind and my emotions are fighting, you know, my instincts and what I want to do. I'm very passionate. I'm a very passionate person. I'm very creative, and I feel like the fire element kind of helps me be more creative and outgoing, because truthfully, I'm an introvert. I'm very shy. I'm very quiet, but in small doses, I can be, you know, on, or I can be, you know, in the spotlight, but it's not my forte. It's not where I'm the most comfortable, but I do tend to operate in the shadows a lot more than I operate on. And so the Aquarius moon is like mystery and secrets and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of elements that create us. And so it is interesting to really do that. Same, not religious at all, but believe 100% in God. Awesome, you're in good company. So yeah, if you guys hear me mention God, it's not out of religion. It's simply out of, I know it's a higher power, and I know that there is something higher than me, and that's where all of these gifts that I have come from. So that's what I believe, and to each their own. I'm never going to knock you if you're like, hey, I'm super Catholic. Hey, that's awesome. Welcome to the channel. You know, it's like, I don't care. Believe whatever you want to believe. That's not harming me in any way, shape, or form. The only issue that I have with any type of religion is that I feel like a lot of it has been basically changed through the centuries because of man, because of humans. And I feel like there's been a lot of things hidden from us, and I feel like there's been a lot of things that will soon come to light, that there's going to be new discoveries in the next several years that show that we have been lied to, and that there's been a lot of deceit when it comes to religion. And that's where I struggle with religion. I definitely am more spiritual, because I think that the books of man, as I like to call them, have a lot of lies and deceit in them to keep us under control. And so that's super unfortunate, but that was by design. So that's my stance on that. I'm going to get off my soapbox and we're going to continue with our reading. But that's just my personal viewpoint on it. So anyways, all right, we're going to do signs, symbols, and synchronicities. We're going to see if there's any sort of signs or symbols that are coming through as confirmation for us. This is a deck that I made. It's a lot of things that were channeled messages. And so some of these might really resonate and some of them might not at all. But either way, it's all right. All right, what do we need to know? What sort of signs, symbols, and synchronicities are important for the collective? Hourglass. Timing is everything. Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, so timing is super important, right? Timing is important for so many things in our life. It's important for deadlines. It's important for goals. It's important for love. It's important for everything, right? If you're not on time, you might miss an opportunity. If you are, you know, what is the old saying, a day late and a dollar short, right? You don't want to be late to the party. You want to be on time so you don't miss your opportunity. On the flip side of that, I fully believe that anything that is meant for us will never pass us by. You might have to circle the block a few times to catch up with us, but if it's meant for you, it will always find you. All right, pay attention. There could be some sort of natural disasters in your path, so we want to be really cautious. And this includes any sort of natural disaster. I have tornadoes, tsunami, earthquake, hurricanes, landslides, lightning, wildfires. So watch out for any sort of natural disaster that could be in your path, whatever that is. We just need to be cautious, and definitely if there's something that's avoidable, let's avoid it at all costs. All right, we've got to shift our perspective. This has come out as well in one of the other decks, shifting our perspective. So take an eagle eye view and see things from a higher vantage point. But this is something that we need to connect with that energy where it's like, what is my focus? Is it on this tiny finite detail that's in front of me that's causing me an issue? Or if I expand and I look at the bigger picture, do I see that it's really something that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, and I need to shift my perspective to the bigger picture? All right, what else do we need to know for signs, symbols, and synchronicities? You could also be seeing an eagle. Incense. So we're going to use some incense as we do this ritual here in a little bit. So incense, it's time to cleanse your energy, meditate, breathe, find peace, calm your mind and your body. So we will be using a little bit of incense to kind of clear any negativity out before we start. What else do we need to know? Crystals. Crystals for purity, for protection. I have several of them in here. This one's clear quartz. We have some amethyst, some amazonite, all sorts of goodies in here. So crystals for purity, for protection. They all operate at a different frequency or a different vibration. So they all do something a little bit different. So sometimes you want to have more than one of them, especially if you're trying to do something real specific. So I have all of mine in the bowl at the moment because right now they are keeping the vibration high so that our manifestations attract quicker. So that's the goal for us this week, right? Is that we're manifesting things, we want them quickly. We don't like to wait, right? Because timing is everything. So we need to really focus on the bigger picture. They come when they are meant to and not a second before. But my goal is when I write these manifestations down, I put a time frame on there. I'm telling the universe, listen, this is what I want and this is when I need it. So I need to match the energy by this point so that they deliver it to me. So for all of the manifestations that I have written down so far, they are all dated for this year, 2023, and some of them are dated by the end of May this month. So very quickly, because I like to see things happen quickly. I am impatient, and that is the fire energy in me. So totally agree with that whole, I'm not patient. I understand, me either. And it's a hard thing for me to have to deal with when I'm not patient. All right, let's see what else we have. What kind of sign symbols? There we go. The root chakra, passions, loyalty, grounded, and success. So again, we need to meditate, we need to raise our vibration, but we also need to be very grounded. So grounding exercises, let's talk about that for just a second. What is that? Well, one can be deep breathing exercises. Meditation is a good one. Prayers, affirmations, those all help. But another thing is just feeling grounded or connected to the earth. So one thing I like to do, I'm almost always barefoot. And people who know me in my day-to-day life, like I hate shoes. I don't wear them unless I have to leave the house. And even then, if I'm just outside in my own yard, I'm barefoot unless it's snowing. That's the only time you're going to see me in shoes. So in the summertime, I like to be barefoot. I will go walk outside barefoot in my grass. I work in my garden with the soil, with the earth, and that helps to ground our energy. But what does that actually mean? Well, we're literally changing the ionic frequency of our cells. So when we step into the earth, when we step on the earth without shoes on, or we use things like, gardening and our hands are in the soil, in the plants, in the dirt, in the earth, what we're doing is our body is energetically in milliseconds, and they have proven this scientifically, that they are actually releasing all of the negative ions back into the earth, and in milliseconds, it is changing the frequency, that it is bringing positive ions in replace of the negative ions. So it actually does work. And this is super important that we want to get grounded. And I've actually gone outside last night and walked barefoot and sat outside and did some deep breathing. And then today I've gone outside barefoot and walked in the ground and everything so that I could actually feel the positivity and change the frequency before I manifest for you guys. So those are some things that I like to do. And grounding exercises will actually help open up that passion center. So it's the root chakra. It is the first chakra, and it is very important that it's in alignment and that it's balanced, because if it's imbalanced, we start to have a lot of issues. So fear is one of those issues, being unstable, anxiety, or just feeling ungrounded and not ourselves. So it's really important that when we align our chakras, we start at the base, at the root, and then we go up. And the top one is the crown chakra that most people are familiar with. And there's 7 of them. And we want all of them firing on all 8 cylinders is the words that always come to mind. But we want them all firing and being open and being spinning and clean, and that the energy is flowing. That's super important. So we don't want stuck energy, because that's what creates disharmony or disease within our body. And so that starts to manifest as ailments, pain, fear, all sorts of different medical conditions. And while I'm not a doctor and I'm not really, qualified to speak on that portion of it, I can tell you from my own personal experience that trapped and stuck emotions absolutely cause issues. And when we release those emotions that are stuck, we start to feel energetically a hell of a lot better. So it is important. All right, let's get one more of these, and then we're going to get just a little bit of tarot, and then we're going to do our manifestation. Woo! All right. So really important that we stay away from POS people. Okay, super, super important. Junk, poor quality, terrible people. We need to just stay away. And one of the other cards we had was cutting energetic cords. So we need to ask the angels to come in and help us sever ties with all of these really crummy people in our life that we don't want to associate with any longer. We don't want them in our life. We don't want anything to do with them. We need there to be boundaries, or we need to bye-bye. You got to go. Your energy sucks. I don't want you around. All right, so let's see what we have for tarot messages. All right, what do we need to know for this message? All right, 4 of Cups. So an unexpected offer coming that will shock us, something we don't see, something that comes out of left field, something that is unexpected. You might be daydreaming, a lack of awareness, but it could be an unexpected, it's an unexpected love offer. We have Gemini energy with the Lovers. So some sort of choice will have to be made in this situation when this love offer comes in. This could bring a lot of harmony, a lot of happiness. And these people typically only have eyes for each other. So it's very balanced love. And twins, so could be twin flames, could be soulmate type energy, but it is definitely 2 people that, mesh well together and that they are meant to be. And so really important choice that's coming up for the collective. Interesting. Ooh, all right, so let's see what we got here in this one too. So we have the Tower. The Tower came out reversed, and we actually like it in reverse. This is avoiding catastrophe, and we had natural disaster. So sometimes I actually think relationships can feel like a natural disaster, right? Like this person can wreck your world, wreck everything that's going on, but we're avoiding that when it comes out in reverse. But you could be feeling trapped. There could be some sort of delay or fear, definitely, that we're trying to avoid the fear. I really feel like someone's trying to avoid making an actual decision when it comes to love. And the reason they're avoiding it is due to fear, that it's seriously a fear-based issue. And we also had feeling fear is a call for love. So we need to release the fear. So that's definitely something we can try and do through deep breathing exercises. What is that, right? Well, it's simple. It's taking deep breaths, lots of them, until the energy starts to change. So simply, deep breaths are in through the nose, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale slowly through the mouth, and you keep doing that until things start to feel better. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. It's not going to hurt anything. You're actually energizing your cells and you're bringing in fresh oxygen, and that actually will make you feel a whole lot better. So really important stuff. The 5 of Wands. There's been lots of conflict in this situation, and I think that that's also why there is fear around this connection or around union with somebody, or maybe even making an offer. Maybe you see that this person has a lot of suitors, or you think there's a lot of competition. Whether there is or whether there isn't, it's fear that's coming through. So we got to release the fear. We're looking for some sort of balance. And I love this because what's happening is it looks like not only is there some sort of offer, there's some sort of choice, okay? And it could lead to union because we actually have Libra energy, which is balancing things. It's also courts, contracts, legal issues. And so you could have to, maybe you're getting married, maybe you're trying to buy property together, but there's some sort of equality, balance, and harmony. And it could involve the courts. Here we have to get a marriage license, so maybe that's, wherever you guys view it from, maybe that's how it works for you as well. So definitely some things that need some balance. So we're going to try and work on the balance. What else do we need to know? Be cautious of sneaky people. There could be somebody spying on you from a distance. They could be a bit of a gossip or somebody who's kind of a know-it-all that really doesn't know jack about, So we really do want to be cautious of nosy people right now. All right, King of Cups. He's who I refer to as the ideal father figure. He's very nurturing. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's grounded. He shows his emotions. He doesn't hide his feelings. He's devoted. He's loyal. He's full of wisdom, generous, and faithful. So that could also describe you. Let's see what else we have. Let's see, Knight of Cups in reverse. This is the hesitation is on the offer. So that comes out with the Tower in reverse. So maybe you've been hurt before in love. There could have been cheating in the past, pettiness, or like lack of diplomacy. So a lot of hurt feelings is what I'm picking up. And so that really makes you hesitant to want to make an offer going forward to somebody new. You don't want to repeat the same mistakes that you've already lived through, right? So we've got to shift our perspective and see things differently. This isn't the same person, hopefully, that hurt you. So, if it's a different person, you don't want to make any of the new people in your life pay for previous mistakes. Okay, so that's where shifting our vibration, our frequency really comes into play. If this is a new person and they have done nothing wrong to you in any way, shape, or form, then that is fear talking, that is ego talking. So we've got to release that. We've got to get rid of that yucky energy, and we want to actually attract positive energy. So it's fear-based. So do the deep breathing and definitely clear that energy out. Muster your strength, gather your courage. If it's you that's making an offer, you're strong enough to do this. All right, 8 of Coins also in reverse. I feel like you think you have to rush. And remember that timing is everything. So there isn't necessarily a rush. You want to make sure that it's quality. You don't want to have a bad reputation for rushing, especially where work or finances is concerned. Pentacles move the slowest in tarot, so it can definitely take some time. Maybe you weren't quite ready to make a change at a job or in a relationship, that the timing just wasn't quite right, and that's okay. You will know when the timing is right, and when it is, be prepared, be ready to act when it's right timing. All right, let's see. That one didn't flip, so we're not going to take it. The Sun. Yep. I think if we get over our fears and we muster our courage, we can have the happiness that we're looking for. This is luck, joy, accomplishments, marriage, children, all of the positive things. It's a fresh start. It's a new beginning. And it brings us a lot of joy and contentment. The Sun is Leo energy, so a lot of passion, a lot of fire. But this is also a card telling us that we can have that fresh start that we're looking for, that we can do things over again, or we can start fresh because there is a new opportunity that's coming for us. So interesting. All right, what do we need to know to close out the reading? What other messages do we need to hear? 4 of Wands. So we definitely have some sort of solid, stable foundation. 1111 symbolizes twin flames. That could mean that you're part of the twin flame collective. It's soulmate energy, meaning that it is destined to happen. And it also symbolizes celebrations, family, and union. So marriage is highlighted with that card as well. All right, Knight of Wands. This is being a little bit adventurous, seeking your passions, being a little bit of a rebel, a flirt, or a hothead. More fire sign energy. Page of Wands. So I almost feel like we have to go through an evolution in this situation. So instead of being just a rogue or just out for a sense of adventure or just jumping in head first, it's almost like we have to collect that energy and kind of have it smolder until it's ready to ignite for the passion to come through. And that might take some inner work, Virgo energy with the Hermit. So some inner work, some shadow work, some meditation, some insight is definitely needed in this situation. What is our final outcome? King of Swords. All right, so some structure to our plans is definitely needed. Could also be dealing with an authority figure. Logic is going to be your strong suit. So think about it. Don't just jump in head first. And that can definitely be a difficulty, but it is not impossible. 6 of Coins. So this is telling us money improvements are underway. We're going to soon have more than enough to be able to share the wealth and to help those less fortunate. That is why we're manifesting today. All right, Queen of Coins in reverse. So normally she's a natural healer. She's very business focused. So we want to make sure we're not operating out of any sort of possessive or jealous, unorganized, manipulative energy. That we want to make sure that we're doing things on the up and up, that our goal is to also be beneficial to the collective. And so it's important that we realize that there's more than enough. We don't have to be jealous or possessive over anything, that what is meant for us is for us, and that we don't have to worry about that, like what other people have. Some sort of decision needing to be made. You need to face your fears head on so that we can actually make a clear decision. You need to let go and get rid of this high wall that you have. So letting our guard down is going to be important, learning to trust slowly. And let's see, 5 of Coins in reverse. So we like it in reverse because this means that we're overcoming money issues. Money is improving, our debts are paid, we're in a state of recovery, and there are positive changes. We're also overcoming heartbreak, pain, sadness, and definitely some grief or jealousy, that we are trying to overcome those things, overcoming the conflict, the chaos, the confusion that's been in our life. And here we go. We are manifesting. So that brings us to our last part of our video today, our live stream, is that we're going to manifest. So I'm going to clean all these cards up so nothing happens to them. And we're going to actively manifest together. So whoever's still here in the live with me, we're going to manifest, but we're going to manifest for all of my subscribers. So I think there's a little over 1,000 of them today. And we're going to manifest all of these things for all of us in the collective. So I'm the type of person who I want to be able to share good news. I want to be able to share the wealth and share the good stuff. So this is a way of me being able to do that. Well, good, Raw Nature. I'm glad you're here. And so we're going to manifest. This is Aries energy. So it's a beginning stage. It's fruitful energy. It's a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of ambition. And it's also welcoming in the things that we really truly want. So magic, manifesting, power, originality, skill, a breakthrough, resourcefulness, and creation. And I wrote on here, I don't know if it'll show up, abracadabra. So I think that actually means like to welcome in, to begin, something like that, to create. It's something to that effect. So we are going to create the life that we want, and we're going to do some of that by manifesting. So give me just a second to put these cards out of the way so that we don't light anything on fire. Because that would be bad. We only want to burn certain things, right? Not the house down. We just want to burn our manifestations into existence. Oh. So how have your travels been? You said you were getting to travel. Are you back home now, or are you still out traveling? Raw Nature, are you still traveling, or are you finally back home? Still out traveling in Austria, Vienna. How exciting. I would love to see pictures if you ever take pictures. I'm going to open my window so we get some of the smoke out. Okay, so we have a fireproof container, super important. We have a little pair of tweezers to hold the leaves because you're going to see they go up quite quickly into flames. We have a candle here. It is pink, so pink and red are associated with love, so that is part of some things that we're manifesting as well. And then we're basically going to do some deep breathing before we start. So like I was saying earlier, if you were in here, that I am doing these on bay leaves. You can get these at any grocery store. They're dried bay leaves. Very inexpensive. You get quite a few of them in that container. I got that at Sam's Club. So I took a green marker because most of these were trying to manifest wealth and abundance, things like that. So green is associated with money. So I wrote on most of these with green. If you were trying to attract love, you could also use like red or pink, things like that. But green is also the color of the heart chakra, so that's also important. Writing my poem book still, but only when I feel to write. I'm still working on a book too. That's awesome. I didn't know you were a writer. Got a job and quit drinking. Congratulations. That's awesome. I also struggled with alcohol when I was younger, and I'm definitely sober now, but it was a difficult thing to let go of. It was a crutch for me. So congratulations. I hope it continues for you. Honestly, I don't picture a lot. Also, only things that I feel. I don't play tourist or force myself in that matter. Well, that's all right too. I just think traveling is excellent. I traveled a lot when I was younger, not as much now, but I would still love to go travel to some different places and see some things. So hopefully one day that will open up as a possibility that I get to travel again. It is definitely difficult to let go. So you're in good company. We're going to stay on the recovery train and go forward, right? Because there's better things than all of that. All right. So I've got several manifestations written here. So I have a couple for the collective. The ones from the poll, I included all of them because you just never know what really needs to come in. So I included all of those. And then I have a couple of my own that, are some personal goals that I'm also going to manifest. I'm just pulling all of those out. So in my little crystal bowl here, what we did was, I need the incense. I forgot about that. Give me 1 second. At least I had it all in one room, right? Okay. So this is just a stick of incense. Find whatever smell that you like. This one smells like roses, and this one is supposed to be the crown chakra. It's purple. Not that that shows up super great, but it's purple. So purple is associated with the crown. We also have amethyst. I don't know how well this is showing up, but it's a purple stone. So we're going to attract the higher elements. We are going to first balance out our chakras. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to take a stick of incense, and incense has been used for literally centuries to kind of clear energy or to rid negativity out of a space. So periodically, while I do my readings in my office, you guys usually see me in this space, this is something that I use to be able to clear any stuck energy that could be here. I do mediumship sessions in this room, and so that spirit activity is coming in here, and we don't want anything to linger, especially if it's something that's not great energy. So I like to tell all of the spirits, that aren't my own bloodline and family, hey, you gotta go, like out you go, you've been here, you've done your thing, and now it's time for you to go back to wherever you came from. And so I use the incense, I say a little prayer, and I go to every corner of my office and I clear the energy. So you first want to open a window or a door, depending on what the room looks like. And that's so that it has an escape route to basically leave, so that the energy can shift and change. And you should notice an actual energetic shift in the change in the room. Like the energy will actually change. It will become lighter. It will definitely become something that is like if it's been really heavy, really down, really negative energy, it will physically change. You will feel that. So one of the things I like to do is I like to clear my chakras. Sometimes I do deep breathing. Sometimes I do the incense. Sometimes I do Palo Santo, it looks like little sticks of wood, but they smell like flowers, and it's an incredible smell, and it helps to kind of mellow the energy. If it burns some things that are mine and I don't want to own anymore, like my wallet I think has a negative energy, it's made of real leather. So you don't want to actually put your wallet in the flame. That would be ill-advised. But I'm going to show you what I do. So first I like to take a couple of deep breaths. So if you're watching this with me, go ahead and do this with me. It's going to help us both shift the energy. So anybody who watches this on replay, go ahead and do this along with us. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to do it in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more. One more. God of the Most High, I ask that you cleanse this space of any negative energy that could be lingering. We are going to help to clear the energy so that we can welcome in our manifestations for our positive outset, our outlook, and our positive manifestations. That we clear the space of any negative energy, ties, or binds, and we ask that you clear it at this time. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so we're going to light the incense now that we've cleared our energy. So I just take the candle and I just light the incense. Sometimes you got to leave it in there for a little bit until it really gets lit. And it will start to smoke. Okay, so I like to wait until it blows itself out. I like to clear my crown chakra. Don't burn yourself. Don't burn your hair off. I like to clean my third eye, my throat chakra, my heart chakra. You can't see it because I'm sitting down, so I'm going to stand up so that you can see. So I'll stand back. So I start at the crown and I go down through all the chakras. I go behind me very carefully and I go around. Okay, so clearing my energy before I manifest. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I do with my tarot decks as well. So you could do this with any sort of object that you want to clear the energy. We want it to really smoke so that we can see the smoke. So we're not going to actually touch the object. We're just going to let the smoke go through the object. Circular motions, I like to go clockwise to invite in new energy. And we're going to go above. And we're going to go below, as above, so below. We're trying to find the balance, okay? So that's one way to clean an object. Sometimes I'll clean like this is a sapphire. It's lab created because, you know, I ain't rich. But the energy is still the same. So it helps with intuition. That's why I wear it. So I'll go and I'll clean my ring, the energy from the ring. And that helps invite clean, pure energy. So those are how we clean objects with incense. You can use Palo Santo, you can use sage, you can use a bay leaf. I highly suggest you be very careful holding onto it, and you're going to see why here in just a second, because it can be quite dangerous. They catch really quickly and they kind of go up in flames. So we want to be careful if you're using a bay leaf, but you can absolutely use any kind of herbs that you like the scent of. I have lavender that grows in my yard. You can dry it, bundle it, you know, get a little piece of twine or string or thread and bundle it. And as it's dry, it will ignite. Highly suggest you usually do this outside. I'm doing it inside because it does look like it's going to rain, and I definitely didn't want all my tarot cards getting wet outside. So anyways, regardless, so in my bowl, I have salt. I have rice. That's mostly what you see is the rice. So little grains of regular rice, any kind will work. And then I have salt. Salt is for protection. I use that in all of my things for manifesting for protection. So I sprinkled salt in here. We have cinnamon is what attracts abundance, allspice, cloves. What was the other one? I think ginger is also in there. So they all do something a little bit different. So I sprinkle a little bit of those in there, and that helps to attract the wealth and the abundance that we're looking for. I also have coins, any denomination, dollars, any of the, whatever currency that you use is totally okay. Does not matter. We're global here, so we do whatever. But in our currency, I used quarters. So that is, you know, like the biggest coin that we use in circulation at the time. I didn't have any single dollar bills. Normally I would take like the dollar and I would sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on it, rub it around both sides, fold it up, and then put it in there. Another thing that you can do is if you are folding money and you want to attract more, fold it to you, not away from you. So you are attracting the wealth towards you. Another thing you can do around the first of the month is cinnamon. You can rub some on your hands. Go to the door that you enter and exit your home. You want to stand at the front door and you want to blow the cinnamon cinnamon into your home as an offering that you are welcoming abundance to your home. Spread what's left around your hands and go wash them. And so that is another way that I use to attract wealth and abundance. All right, so those are some of my little tips that I like to use. Feel free to use any of those. You know, there are definitely some things that I learned. I like to share the wisdom and the knowledge, so it's definitely something that I am about on this channel, is sharing the wisdom, because I think we all need it. So we're going to make sure that our incense is nice and lit. And then we are going to work on clearing the energy right here where we're working. And then I'm going to put the incense in our bowl. So normally before you would make your money bowl, that's what this is called, you would clean the container, soap and water, so that it's clean, dry it, and then take your incense or your herbs and you would actually cleanse the area, the energy, so that we're welcoming in new energy. That's important every time. And you want to refresh this bowl about once a month so that the new energy is coming in. I also have citrine, which is actually for manifesting money. So citrine is right there in the middle. So we have all the different things inside the bowl. We're going to let the incense go ahead and do its thing and burn. It won't catch anything on fire because it's in the rice. You can also do a bowl of salt if you have a lot of salt that you want to use. And when the incense falls, it's really not going to hurt anything. If it's salt that you have in the bowl, it actually helps to clean your crystals as well if you have crystals in the bowl. And you can make something called black salt, which is for protection. So when the incense falls into the salt, you can crush it up and you can use that later for protection outside your home, in your rituals, things like that. So highly beneficial. All right, without further ado, we are going to start our manifestation. So we have wealth was one of the first things that was listed on the poll. So on the leaf, it says wealth. In 2023, May, money, 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 money. It says for me and for my collective of subscribers on YouTube. All right, so here's where it gets dicey. We want to make sure we have something to hold it with so that we don't hurt ourselves, because these usually go up pretty quick. I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to take the candle and you can hear it. So sometimes they go up super quick, sometimes it takes a little bit to actually get them to catch, and it's okay either way. So there we go. So we are flaming. It is starting to go, and we do it until it literally all is burnt, and that's all you've got to do. So I'm sure you can hear the little crackle. They crackle, sometimes they pop, sometimes they go up super quick, and sometimes they don't. So it's pretty much burnt, so we put it in our little tray. All right, our next one says love, pure love, true love, May 2023. And this one is also for me and for my YouTube subscribers. So there we go. A little more. So what we're doing when we're burning is we're putting our intention out to the universe. We're literally putting the energy back out there so that we can attract what it is that we want back to us. All right, this one, prosperity, May 2023, new ideas for me and for my YouTube subscribers. Yes. So we're getting some prosperous ideas. I've found that the quicker that they go up in flames, the quicker that they actually manifest. So that could also be significant. So one thing I'm manifesting for the channel is 10,000 subscribers. We're at just over 1,000. My next goal is to get us to 10,000. So by the end of the year 2023, that one went up pretty good. I need to get to 4,000 watch hours so that we can get monetized and so that we can do the super chats and all of the extra fun stuff that they have. So we have this is the 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, that one's coming. Let's see what else we have. Lots more money coming in. Didn't want to light. How funny. feel like it could be slow, but when it comes, it's going to be worth it. Almost there. There we go. All right. All right. More wealth coming in. Unlimited streams of income. So things that maybe, you know, we didn't expect. Things that it's just money just keeps flowing to us. An unlimited stream of income. Ooh. I'm curious, can you guys hear what this sounds like? Is my mic picking up all the like little rattling of it? Sounds kind of cool. I always think it sounds cool. All right. And this last one is a personal goal of mine, but we're definitely manifesting the good stuff. All right. So what we do afterwards, first we're going to make sure that all of our little ashes, you know, are completely cooled, that they aren't still charred. So I'm going to give these a few minutes, and after we end the live stream, I'll go take care of these outside. So what we're going to do with the ashes after you would manifest like that, right? So our intentions are out there in the universe. God, the universe source, knows our intentions now. And so now they can actively work on matching our frequency. And so that's why we have to keep our intentions positive on the outcome. So stay positive. It's raining currently. So rain symbolizes a clean slate, washing things clean, a new beginning. So a clean slate. And so it's perfect time to go put the ashes outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little seashell with all the ashes once they're completely cooled, and we spread them to the wind. Okay, so we're bringing in all the elements. We have rain. Thank you, Mother Nature. So we have rain. We used fire. Earth is where we're going to return the ashes, and wind. We're going to spread it. So we have all the elements. Okay, so we had the magician. And the magician literally uses all of the elements at his disposal to create. So that's exactly what we're doing. So that's how this works for me, is I use all the elements at my disposal to literally attract what it is that I want back into my life, or into my life for the first time, some new fresh energy and opportunities. So if you guys start to experience some wealth out of nowhere, I would love to know. My email's listed. You guys can always shoot me an email, comment on any of the videos that you want to comment on, and let me know, because it's exciting. I like to share in your joys and successes, as I hope you'll share in my joys and successes. So this is a community. I want it to feel like a safe place where we can share ideas, we can share knowledge, and most importantly, we can lift each other up, because that's what we need to do for the collective energy to actually go forward and keep growing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to start doing this about once a month, where we manifest always under a new moon, and that we're going to release things under full moons. And that's how that works. So when we're full, right, we have to dump something out of the bucket to make some more room. So we can always be full again, but we need to make room by clearing out the things that aren't working at that time. So that's how that works for me. So I'm going to answer any more questions that you guys have before we get out of here. Let's see. You like the sound too? Yeah, I really do too. After I stopped drinking, like out of the blue, no anymore. I have sleeping problem and anxiety, and I wake up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the night in the morning, and I'm afraid or anxious to fall asleep again. Okay, so I also struggle with that. And last night it was especially bad. I feel like I tossed and turned literally all night. I don't even know if I actually slept. So I've been up since about 6:30. And I was like, oh, should I just get up? Yeah, just get up. Just, start doing what you got to do for the day. And I feel better. But really restless sleep is an indication that spirit is trying to contact you. If you're being awakened at between 3 and 4 a.m. regularly, that's God trying to get your attention. He's like, hey, it's quiet. Come talk to me. We have some work to do. prayers, meditation, just listening. If you're a writer, get a notebook. Just do something called automatic writing. Just kind of sit there with your pen and paper, or even your phone if you've got like that little app where you can take notes or whatever, and just sit there quietly and clear your mind. Do some deep breathing and just kind of see what comes in. And it might surprise you what kind of answers come through. But that is actually how I started to awaken my spiritual gifts. And so it really does work. And it's something called automatic writing. So what happens is we're tuning into a different part of our brain, our intuition, and our subconscious mind. And so we're able to gain insight and answers. And a lot of times those come to us through dreams. And so if we're not able to sleep, that's really difficult, right? Because we feel unrested and things feel chaotic and we're drained. So we need to tap into that other side of our brain, that creative side. And so by doing the meditation and also doing the journaling, what you're doing is you're allowing that energy to come through you in a different way while you're still somewhat alert. And so it will feel foreign at first. It did for me, that it's just kind of strange. It's like, am I imagining this? Is this just my mind playing tricks on me? But it's really not. And it doesn't take a lot of practice for it to really come through. So that's what I would suggest. If you really can't sleep at that point, and you're like, I need sleep, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, what the heck, I'm having nightmares, I'm anxious, it's spirit telling you it's time. You've got to listen. We're trying to give you some answers that are going to help you, but you have to be willing to listen. So that's one way that spirit has always kind of come through for me. And I know deep down, like if I'm pushing it off, if I'm ignoring it, or if I'm trying to, like, you know, when I was younger, like I said, when I drank a lot, I would drink so that I could pass out. I would drink so that I could forget. And that was so unhealthy for my body. I had small kids and like they weren't with me. They were with their dad and we were going through a nasty divorce and all these things, right? And so that was my coping mechanism. I drank so that I could pass out and not remember and not think about all these things. So when I finally had to just face all of that and had to deal with it, I had to figure out a way to cope without the alcohol. And so journaling was something that really helped me. And that's how I started to write my first book. And that was kind of what helped get me out of this really dark place that I was in, was writing. And music has always been something that has really helped me too. So whether that's listening to your favorite songs, or have you ever listened to music where, you know, it's great in that moment and then like some time goes by and you haven't listened to a specific song in a while and it just doesn't feel the same, or it feels like really played out? There's a reason for that. Like you're ascending past that obstacle and that music helped you to do that. So music is another one that's really great. But journaling, I would highly suggest journaling and trying the automatic writing. So literally just, you know, deep breaths and then clear your mind and just see what comes through. Write it down. Don't think about it in the moment. Just write down what comes through. I have channeled some really incredible messages by doing that. And, you know, my intention was just to see what happened. So it can be done. It does take a little bit of practice, but it is totally worth the time. So try that. Let me know if it helps. And I'm in the same boat. I struggle with that a lot when I'm really anxious about things going on in my life, when there's a lot of conflict or chaos going on around me, when things are super busy and overwhelming. I tend to have that issue a lot. So I'm an insomniac. I'm usually a night owl. I'm up super late at night. Just, you know, can't sleep. So totally can relate. Used to love the song Demons by Jacob Lee. I'm not familiar with that. I'll have to check that one out. I listen to a lot of different stuff, but it's like, I have specific favorites or like stuff that really resonates with me that like is always something that I like to listen to. And then I have other stuff where like if I'm dealing with a lot of heartbreak or pain, I'll listen to a specific type of music. Or if I'm dealing with like a lot of rage or just internal struggles, I'll listen to a different type of music. Sometimes, you know, you gotta flip on that gangster rap and you just gotta handle your shit, right? You know, you gotta go with what the feeling is. And now I can't go back to that anymore. Yeah, I totally feel that. There's lots of songs that I feel that way. It's like, it's just not the same as it once was. It's not supposed to be. It was supposed to be there to help you for a short while. Let's see. Please listen to that song. It is super great, but I can't anymore. I'm going to write that down. Let me grab a pen so I don't lose it here. One sec. Always keep paper close by. Okay, you said it was called Demons by Jacob Lee. Okay, got it. On the pad of paper. So I'm going to listen to that after we close out the live. Well, that's awesome. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. This was probably one of the longest lives we've done in quite some time, but well worth it, I hope. So hopefully you guys learned something and definitely, got something out of the message. That's always my goal, is to help you guys heal along your journey as well. It's part of my calling here, is to help the collective. The song was my life soundtrack in 2018. Ooh, feel that. 2018 was a rough year for me too. So was 2020. It was definitely a lot of change, a lot of growth, a lot of transformative energy. And I feel like it started kind of in 2018, that things really just kind of, like they had to get worse before they got better, but that they're finally starting to get to the better point, and it's taken quite some time, but worth it. It's like sometimes it just has to happen that way, that we've got to go through some struggles to appreciate the good stuff on the other side. So I'm hoping that it gets better for you as well, that you get to do the things you want to do and that things improve for you. And you've been here since, I think, right after I started the channel, so you're definitely one of the OGs here, the originals. Thank you for sharing and everything. I appreciate everything you do. I think there's a reason why I found this channel of yours, and I found it out of the blue. Yep, you were divinely guided to be here. There's always a reason why people stumble across my stuff, because I'm not a big channel. So it's like, I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as coincidence, that you are where you are meant to be. So, hopefully me sharing my stuff helps other people. And that's why I wrote my book, Stepping Stones to Destiny, was because I went through a lot of stuff. Like I went through a lot of stuff, and not most of it was very nice. So if you're ever curious, it's always listed in the description box. There's a link on the About page as well for my book. It's only available on Amazon. There's a digital copy and a paperback copy. And it's about my life. It's about like the tragedies that I've lived through, and like losing my mom in 2020 was the catalyst for me waking up my psychic gifts. Not that I didn't know I was psychic. I knew I was psychic my entire life. That wasn't a secret, but that it just like blew the doors wide open on my abilities. And so I took some seminars and things, and really started to develop my psychic and my mediumship abilities. And tarot was an outlet for me to be able to kind of focus that energy. But my writing is another way. I'm actually working on a second book, and that one's all channeled messages from the divine. And so I'm super excited to get that one finished, so that I think that one might resonate with more people than like my own personal story, but hey, you never know. And so I'm just really excited to finally get that one put together, and it's going to be a while still. I'm not sure what else I'm going to add to it, but that I'm super excited to share the knowledge and to share the insight that Spirit has given me over the last several years, and that if we're willing to listen, they're always willing to talk to us. So we just have to be open to receive it. So be open to your blessings, be open to the manifestations coming into your life, and be willing to receive. That's the other thing. So stay positive about the outcome, let go of the timing, because that's not up to us, it's up to the divine, but that it will happen exactly when it's meant to, and not a moment sooner than it needs to. So awesome. Definitely check out the book. I promise it's a quick read. It's only about 120 pages, so it's pretty quick, but you'll definitely find out more stuff about me. I shared most of the skeletons in my closet just because I needed to. I needed to shed that extra weight to get it off my chest, to be able to hopefully help others. And like I was saying earlier, I struggled with alcohol too, so I know that struggle. It's very real. It's a battle that sometimes still comes to the surface for me, even like, 18, 19 years later, but that it's something that it passes, it's like, no, I don't want to go back down that road again. I'm good. I just had a moment of weakness where I needed to think about some things, and you'll get to that point. So in the first year or so, I would say, is usually the hardest. And then when you face like your first real challenge, that's another hard time. but make sure you have a support system and reach out to people. And, it definitely can get easier. You replace the negative habit with positive ones, and that's how you become successful at actually beating it. So it is possible. We do recover, we do change, and you can too, for sure. So I hope it helped. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And we will do a live stream at least once a week going forward. So hopefully you guys are able to catch the live stream. If not, it's always on a replay, so you guys can catch it at any time. Safe travels out there, Raw Nature. Hopefully you're having fun and doing your thing. And whoever else is joining us, hi, welcome, and thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a great rest of your weekend. Your weekend messages will be posted tomorrow. Have a great rest of your week.